Okay, so have you ever wondered how a really smart AI, when it's facing just a mountain of things to do, actually decides what to tackle first? It's not magic, not at all. It's a super powerful design pattern called prioritization. So let's dive in and see exactly how an AI builds its ultimate ever-changing to-do list.
We've all been there, right? You've got a to-do list that's so long you don't even know where to begin. Well, for an AI agent that's working in a super complex, constantly changing environment, this isn't just a feeling of being overwhelmed, it's a huge operational challenge. So how in the world does it cut through all that noise?
Well, the AI doesn't just, work through a list from top to bottom. A better way to think about it is like an ER doctor running triage. It takes a look at the whole situation and decides which patient, or in this case, which task, needs the most urgent attention right now.
So let's peek inside this digital emergency room. The whole process really boils down to two key steps. First, scoring the tasks to figure out what's most critical, and second, sequencing them to make sure they get done in the right order. It all kicks off with something called task scoring. So, just like a triage nurse checking vital signs, the AI gives a numerical score to every single task it has. And this isn't a random guess, it's a calculated value, and it's based on a really specific set of criteria. So to get that score, the AI asks a few key questions, like what's the actual business value here? What's the risk of doing it? Or maybe the risk of not doing it? How much effort is this going to take? And, maybe most importantly, how urgent is it right this second? You tally those things up, and boom, each task has a clear priority score.
But a high score isn't quite enough on its own. The AI also needs what we call a dependency graph. To put it simply, it's basically a map that makes sure there's a logical order of operations. Think about it. You wouldn't set a broken bone before taking the x-ray, right? Well, this graph makes sure the AI doesn't get ahead of itself either.
Okay, now we're getting to the really, really clever part. This whole thing isn't about making one perfect plan and just sticking to it no matter what. No, the true power here is in its ability to adapt. This is that agentic part, where the AI really starts to act on its own based on new information.
So, after that initial triage, the AI has its starting orders. Let's just say task A has the highest score. Then comes task B, and finally task C. Simple enough, right? So the system gets to work on task A. And just like that, task A is done. The highest priority job has been executed successfully. Now, the logical next step seems pretty obvious, doesn't it? The AI should just move right down the list to the next item, which is task B. But this is where the system shows you how smart it really is. No, it doesn't. And this right here, this is the secret sauce. The moment task A is finished, the AI doesn't just mindlessly move on to task B. It stops. It completely stops. And it reruns the entire triage process for every single remaining task on its list. So why would it go through all that trouble? Well, it's because of what we call ripple effects. The world has literally changed now that task A is complete. Maybe finishing it has made task C all of a sudden way more urgent, or maybe it reduced the business value of task B. The point is, what was in second place before might not be the right thing to do next. Now, this dynamic approach, it isn't just a cool theory. It's used in real-world systems every single day. So let's take a look at where it really shines, and also where it can be a bit of a challenge. You see this pattern all over the place, from DevOps pipelines managing server tasks to customer service systems routing support tickets. The biggest pro, for sure, is its adaptability. I mean, it just thrives in environments that are constantly changing. It's also really transparent since you can always see the scores and understand why the AI made the choice it did. But that same adaptability creates the main con, unpredictability. Because the priority list can change at any moment, the sequence of actions might be different every single time, and that can make outcomes a lot harder to reliably predict. So if you're going to remember one thing from this explainer, it should be this core concept. We are not talking about some static, rigid plan here. The AI's to-do list is alive. It's a living, breathing queue that's constantly reorganizing itself with every single action it takes. And this makes sure the AI is always working on the most valuable and appropriate task at that exact moment in time. And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought, doesn't it? We tend to make our to-do lists and then try to stick to them rigidly. But if an AI's most effective strategy is to constantly stop and reevaluate, maybe there's a lesson in there for how we approach our own complex, ever-changing list of tasks.